All right. Good morning, everybody. Go ahead and tell us where in the chat box you are calling in from. I know this is a global business. There are people coming in from around the world. I know we're in over 90 countries now globally. So super incredible to have so many of you with us right now on this call live, no matter where you're calling in from, whether you are on Zoom, whether you're on Facebook, you're tuning in from YouTube. I know we are streaming all around the internet right now. So thank you again for tuning in today. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this thing started. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to first just get into the most important thing we can, which is the overall risk disclosure here within using any of the technologies here with Auvoria for Prime. You need to understand that trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and it may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin and utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or use any of our software alerts products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and your risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest or trade any capital that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you do have any doubts. Auvoria Prime LLC does not exercise trading authority over any of your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade. And when it comes to GearBox, if you are sharing any of your results from using GearBox, which is only allowed in designated Facebook groups, please do not use the term company recommended settings. Auvoria Prime does not have any recommended settings. Auvoria Prime is not a financial advisory firm. Auvoria Prime licenses software that users can use however they want at their own risk and discretion. GearBox does not come without the box settings upon initial setup, which customers have the ability to customize their settings however they want. So again, GearBox does come with those out-the-box settings. You have the ability to customize them however you'd like. Auvoria Prime has nothing to do with a customer's broker account. We do not solicit or take investments. No brokers are recommended. Again, Auvoria Prime just licenses software and sells amazing education that users can learn and potentially benefit from. And any settings that I'm sharing today are developer settings and not company recommended settings. This call is for educational purposes only. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's start getting into really first off how last week went. We're going to discuss a few things I saw. We had a big GearBox update this week to version 9977 from some of you, if you were on international, you were on 9969, and some of you, if you were on MAV, were on 997 previously. We went ahead and made a update about Tuesday evening. We made this update to 997, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I released a setup video. And just let me know you guys can see my screen. I actually, I went ahead and set up a brand new setup video. You guys should see it in your back office of the AP Academy for setting up GearBox. We made an update to the GearBox loader, made it a little more pleasant to use, less likely to potentially fail. So for those of you who are on this call, we noticed last week that due to GearBox loader taking some time to actually set up on an account, sometimes it doesn't get the chance to fully load the settings into every chart if you start trying to make changes right away. So what I mean by that is when you use the GearBox loader, you obviously drag it on the chart here. You want to make sure your boxes are checked. You hit OK. And GearBox loader is probably going to take some time to load up the UI here. So we'll give it a minute. Always what you can do is go to the experts tab. And most likely, since it hasn't popped up here, we're going to see a notification that it cannot set the millisecond timer. Anytime you're using GearBox Loader, when you're first setting it up or when you are first loading it onto your charts, and I'm just going to go ahead and close this account. Ignore this. This was me trying to do some testing, playing around with some other things, but I'm going to just go ahead and close this terminal. If you're ever trying to use the GearBox loader, it's best to go ahead and actually close a terminal or any other terminals, just because it is processing heavy when first using the GearBox loader. So now that I only have the GearBox loader open, you can see we made it a little bit prettier for those of you who are here the first 2 weeks. Some people are raising hands. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Oh, it says no, you guys can't see it. You guys only see the disclosure screen. Awesome, thank you. This is why I asked. Let me go ahead, and there we go. What I was showing you guys as I was talking there is in the experts tab. Sometimes you're going to see when you first try to drag GearBox Loader on, it's going to give you this message. It cannot set the millisecond timer. That's just because it's requiring a lot of processing power. What I do anytime I'm using GearBox Loader, I typically am going to look to close any of the other terminals I have open. If you're using another GearBox, another variable, Einstein, any of our other software products, I'm just going to actually go ahead and X those terminals out for the time being while I use GearBox Loader, just because it's very processing heavy in the way it works. And we noticed a problem where the previous version of GearBox Loader, people weren't basically allowing it to load all the settings properly. And what I mean by that is, let's say I hit right now Sniper Ghost plus Real Strategy. We're going to go ahead and apply that on all the charts. And you're going to see in real time kind of what happens. And I just want to educate on this so that this is educated. And first you can see it's gone ahead and said, okay, we selected, this setting. So it's going to go ahead and it's now applying this setting and trying to apply it to all the charts. And your terminal might freeze for a second, run into a problem. In this case, the reason it's slowing down is it's trying to delete all the ghost trades. As it's not a first time setup. It's going through and it's resetting up on all the charts. So it might take a minute. But what you're going to watch in the experts tab is, you can see right there, it's going ahead and it's trying to apply it to all the EAs. And you just want to give it a minute. While it does that, you're going to see it can't set the millisecond timer, right? So what this means is that it hasn't been able to apply that setting yet to that chart. It's still trying to fully initialize on these charts. So you want to wait. Once you select to use the GearBox Loader, you want to wait until it is done applying and you don't see any more cannot set millisecond timer messages. Once you don't see those in the experts, that's when you're going to go ahead and you're going to want to double check your currency pairs and make sure your settings are right based on the strategy you chose. But I'm not going to click anything right now until this is done setting the millisecond timer. Because it's going to have to go ahead and basically what that timer is it's basically when GearBox is fully able to reinitialize with the new settings on your chart. So when it can't set that timer, it's basically saying these settings haven't applied yet. So if you were to go start trying to make changes to some of these pairs or look at them before this has fully applied, it can actually stop the process of the loader being able to set all of your settings based on the loader. And somebody asked, is the loader necessary? No, the loader isn't necessary. It's just a tool that for a brand new person, it's going to make it a little easier to first start using an expert advisor and get GearBox going and set up on all the charts. The benefits of the loader is really you don't have to drag GearBox on each and every chart, manually set each and every setting at first. What you're able to do is you're able to actually make sure GearBox initializes on all the charts. And you can have a kind of template grasp of what settings you want to use. And then you just got to go in and manually set your lot sizes, maybe increase your max pairs or decrease it based on your strategy, what you're looking to do. And somebody said, should we use the loader and go get a cup of coffee while we let it do its thing? Honestly, that is typically what you should most likely do. You want to let the loader do its thing, give it its time. Don't try to overload it. Don't close this, because if you close this and just reopen it, you're going to see gearboxes on all your charts, but the settings aren't going to be correct. They're going to be the default settings on many charts, and you're going to still have to go back and kind of modify them to the strategy you want. So you want to give it its time. And then even once it's done, you're going to want to go double check the volatile pairs, such as Euro AUD, GBP, all the GBP pairs basically in Euro AUD. You're going to want to make sure that those entries especially match the gear data, which I'll drag onto the screen right here. You're going to want to make sure that, that data here matches up. And, that you can see, let me zoom out a bit here. You can see that the data matches. So if you were to go look at GBP USD, for example, okay, if you're on sniper settings, you want to make sure that you see your gears above setting set to gears above 4, meaning it would enter on 5, right? And you're going to want to make sure you see that if you're on sniper. Or if you're on swing, you're going to want to make sure you see 4, right? Or if you're looking at GBP AUD, same thing. You're going to make sure you see if you're using sniper, gears above 5 for your default setting, if you're going to go for the default settings of these strategies. So you just want to match that up, make sure that that's all correct. Like I said, the loader is a tool. We're trying to continue to make it more advanced to make your gearbox experience easier when trying to set up on multiple charts and running all 25 currency pairs of the majors and minors that you want. Somebody asked, why do you have 2 times XAU USD? That's the chart I just used to put the loader on. I didn't realize I already had the loader open once, so I dragged it on another chart in front of you guys, and when I re-click this, it shows that I have 2 open, but that's just the loader twice right now open. I don't trade gold on GearBox currently. I have not found settings, and I would not recommend you do that either. And I will get into some of these questions here. I see there's lots of questions. I like to go into the questions near the end of our session, for those who stay in, because sometimes I might just talk and cover some of the questions you have. And then for those whose questions I haven't answered, I do get into those typically near the end. Now, I'm going to go ahead and also share my screen. I want to show you some of results last week. Now, I do also want to discover or disclaim, I'm going to show you real quickly on another VPS of mine. I'm going to drag it over here to you guys. Just give me a second so I can pull up what I want to pull up. Okay. There's one thing that's very important, and I want you guys to, can everybody see my screen right now? You see this VPS? Just let me know in the chat box if you can see this. Okay, awesome. There's something important that I want to make sure everybody goes and checks. It's something that we've noticed has the potential to affect more trades being received sometimes. You're going to want to make sure that you obviously have these unchecked. You don't ever want to disable this when the account's been changed or when the profile's been changed. Just go ahead and eliminate that. And you're going to want to make sure you have allowed DLL imports on. These, you're going to just really double check under tools, options, and uncheck these boxes. Sometimes some people have said that this will affect someone's ability to get a trade, and maybe they hit a button on their VPS or they logged into another account, or the profile's been changed, so something happened, right? And now your automated trading is disabled and you don't know. So just better to undo that. We've noticed that some users have actually ran into a problem where they didn't know what they're doing. They're new. They logged into another account or something, and now their trading is disabled. It's just best to uncheck those boxes because GearBox does require some patience, and you don't always know it's working without looking at the experts tab, right? And if you want to look at the experts tab to have a feel if something's working, go ahead and you can see it's constantly trading in the ghost server, right? You see right here in the experts tab, it's modifying a ghost trade, it's closing a ghost trade, it's changing a stop loss on a ghost trade. It's constantly trading. You can see that GearBox is working. Now, this was a very slow week, and the reason I was showing you the account that was right here is this was a 10K account that I actually had set up on Tuesday for the setup video for the update, and I put it on sniper settings, and I did not get one trade since Tuesday. So if you were somebody who maybe said, I didn't get into a lot of trades, you're probably right. It was a very slow week with GearBox. The market didn't have many moves. In fact, many of the trades open on my GearBox accounts, like the one you see right here, are trades that were open from previous weeks that I'm actually still holding, waiting to swing. So why I'm telling you that is that a lot of my accounts did not take new trades this week, and we'll be able to see that by getting into some of the actual FX books here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get straight into it. And I want to get into some of our GearBox accounts. We're going to start with our 25 pair accounts that we have running. You can see we have a few different accounts running live that are trading all 25 pairs. And essentially, we'll start with the 40K and take a look at this one. you can see that this account really didn't have much growth this week. The growth it did have were from old trades that it's been holding, which it's been in drawdown from, as you still see here, right? We haven't taken many new trades. When you look at the equity, our trades total closed hasn't gone up much from last week's call. You can see that there weren't a lot of trade opportunities. It was kind of stuck in the trades it had. Now this account's doing very well for a large conservative account. It's just, very impressive to say the least in what it's doing. So, I'm very impressed with the sniper strategy and Ghost plus Rio. Now I do sometimes manually close these trades out. In fact, if we take a look, I closed out these trades all manually. They were less than 10 pips from take profit. But for me, I had just been stuck for 2 weeks in these trades. There was one time last week that these trades were on floating profit and I didn't close them. I remember I just saw these all 10 pips from take profit and I just said, okay, I'm just going to close them, right? I saw those green bars. So typically if I do ever close a trade manually, it's going to be because I see that they're 10 pips from take profit or less. Other than that, with Ghost plus Real, I tend to try and let them hold out until the full thing swings. But again, if I close it manually, that's typically when I do it. If I do, whereas, double take profit might get you out of the trade a lot sooner, maybe a little less profit. But again, it's going to get you in and out of, I probably would have been out of these trades last week and in new trades this week had I been on double TP because they wouldn't have tried to go for such a large move. Instead I'm now still stuck in them. Because you're using Ghost plus Rio and you're going for a larger swing, which means you're going to play in the market a little longer often. In fact, my average trade length has gone up. Previously, on average, I was holding each trade for 3 days. Now on this account, we're looking around 4 days. So again, as you see, that's a more institutional strategy. You're taking longer trades, you're waiting longer, and right, it requires some patience. I tell people all the time with GearBox, it's an incredible product, but it requires patience. If you need instant gratification, GearBox is, when I look at the overall financial markets, I look at financial firms, 401ks, different investments, percents and things they return. And then I look at something as just having some patience with GearBox, right? And I'm like, wow, and people want to see instant trades, I know. But the one thing I can teach you about trading is, and this is something that I can tell you from 5.5 years of trading, and I've lost a good chunk of money to learn some of these lessons and be able to teach them to you, which is sometimes the best time to trade or to understand trading is knowing when not to trade. Really, that's the hardest part about trading for most people, is just knowing when not to take a trade, when not to trade. A lot of people come in and they just want to trade, and that's the greed factor, right? And GearBox isn't greedy. GearBox is very low exposure, very low lots. We've done 41% on a almost a 50K account with only 44 lots traded, right? With only 90 trades taken, almost 4,000 pips caught, and our average win is more than our average loss, and that's what I like to see. Even our best trade larger than our worst trade. Right? These are important analytics that I like to be able to kind of look at on these different accounts. Now, I want to get into some more accounts here. Let's get straight into this 2000 Sniper. This is an impressive account. This is one of the ones I've been running the longest, actually. And now we did increase the risk probably a few months in from 3 max pairs trading to 6, which was about here, I'd say around 25%. We made some changes to the account to increase it from a conservative account to more of a moderate account. As well, you can see in July and August, I actually had it off pretty much all of July. I think it ran for like 3-4 days in July, and I think it got about a week in August, and then I turned it off as I was making some different modifications to the software during early on testing. But what you can see from this account is we have almost, in 6 actual months, and really only, I'd say 4 actual trading months, almost done 100% of this account with less than 12.5% drawdown. And that is just, that's incredible. You don't see many softwares doing that. And this is, again, the sniper strategy. So it's been more low exposure. It's done very well. It's trading 6 max pairs. This is, again, more of a moderate strategy, and it is ghost plus real. Most of the accounts I'm showing you are all ghost plus real. That's kind of always been my strategy because I look at my accounts more. But I am starting a bunch of double take profit accounts live this week from 250 to 500, 10,000. That 10,000 one I just showed you, I set up in the new setup video. That was a double TP. I just clicked ghost plus real, so it would change the settings in that example we're going to go back and look at. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is also a longer running account. This is a $1,500 account we started, and this account is crushing it. As you can see, we started it July 28th, so it's a longer running account. This one has been running the whole time, so pretty much August on. July 28th is end of July, and I think I did something, closed that trade, and it's just been running. This is a swing account. Now, what's interesting to take a look at, and I want you to all pay close attention to, is this is a swing strategy. It's taking a lot more trades than that sniper one, right? Its profit factor is lower. It's trading the same amount, 6 max pairs trading, but it's just taking entries a little earlier. And that the little bit of earlier entry to get that satisfaction of seeing more trades has yielded a higher drawdown. It actually has not yielded a higher monthly, right? You're getting in more trades, but your monthly is not higher. Your exposure is higher. You've caught about the same amount of pips, but when you actually go back and look at swing here has a higher average loss than its average win. It has a higher worst trade than its best trade. And its profit factor still above 2, which is great. But again, it's nothing like the sniper. So yes, swing can deliver more trades. It is a profitable strategy, but actually swing is, again, a riskier strategy. Why? Because you're taking more exposure. You're getting into more trades. You're getting into trades sooner. Where a sniper is waiting for a much more precise entry, right? The more precise the entry, the least risky it's going to be. You know, that's kind of, for most people, that's going to become common sense, at least as you start to use GearBox, right? Swing is more if you really want that instant gratification. But for those people who are looking to really have an experience where when it takes trades, you're going to want to stick to the sniper strategies, right? They're very low exposure. So if we go back and let's just compare the 1,500 swing to the sniper, and you can see this account's only taken 163 trades. It's caught in almost double the amount of pips, profitable pips, that is. And again, its average win is still higher than its average loss. And all that is just increasing the entry by 1, really, on most of those pairs from swing to sniper. So you can see how much of a difference more precise entries actually can make, and not even that much different, right? If we go back and let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. Oops. I'm going to pull up for you guys here. I want to make a point of detail of what that actually means. So if we were to take a look, oops, that's the risk disclosure. You guys do not want to see the risk disclosure again. All right. So if we go back and take a look at what that difference means, the default swing strategy is for most pairs entering on a level 2, right? So let me pull that gear data back up here too and pull this up to you. So we're going to look at these side by side, and I want to just, and I'm going to always be referencing these data sheets. So if this still doesn't make a lot of sense to you, hopefully we can start to make it a little more clear as we go here. Now, when you look at the default swing strategy for most pairs besides GBP pairs and Euro AUD, you're actually only entering on a gear 2. That means you're really only waiting 50 pips to go against the base strategy for you to take an entry, which to me, it's not that large of a move when you understand that some of these pairs have moved 800 pips, 1,000 pips, 1,500 pips. you're really not, you're not waiting that long with swing to get in, which is why inherently it's going to have much more risk. Whereas with the sniper move, you're really waiting for over 87 pips to go against the base strategy on the normal pairs here, such as AUD CAD, AUD USD, Euro USD, right? And these are much more realistic moves. And even if it continues to go against you, you got a much better entry point. And even then, you're waiting on some of the GBP pairs, anywhere from 5, 6, 7. I mean, on Euro AUD, let's take a look here. Euro AUD on Sniper, we're waiting till 6. And remember, after Wednesday, they always raise by +1. So, when you look at that, I've seen multiple times, I've had a Euro AUD level 7 sniped on one of my accounts on a Thursday, right? And that means that we waited for 426 pips to go against the base strategy. That means that this entire move, you skipped all this drawdown, right? You skipped all of this move, and then you're able to get the sniper entry right here. And that's why inherently, again, swing is getting you more trades. It's getting you in the game sooner. But when we look at the analytics compared to Sniper's taken less trades. It's produced, a much better result all around. So it's up to you. Again, it's everyone's risk tolerance. I've released multiple strategies and tested things so that, someone can decide based on their risk what they're looking to do. Do you want to see more trades? Do you want to see less trades, more precise trades? What is your goal with GearBox? Are you going to take all this data I'm showing you and come up with your own customized way to run your GearBox? Absolutely. The reason I'm really trying to educate so much on how GearBox actually works and how important being able to change your own settings and all your entry data is because, when you look at something like this, if you're an advanced user, you might go, okay, even sniper strategy, yeah, we're only waiting till a 3 on these pairs. You might look at some of those pairs and go, I want to wait till a 4 or a 5 on AUD USD because I've seen it make big moves before, right? Or you might go, okay, Euro USD, we're still only waiting 87 pips. No, I'm waiting 207, right? It's customizable to every single one of you and what you're actually looking to achieve and have happen there. So let's go ahead and let's move into a few other accounts. I want to touch on the one pair account so you guys can see individually how this week each individual pair did. And remember, some of these pairs, they might have had their growth this week from actually being traded from, trades prior. So we'll take a look at the ones that have closed some trades here. And you can see a lot of them actually haven't closed some trades in a few days. Some have gotten some trades closed this week. Others, no new trades. You can see where some of these different ones ended. But let's just go ahead and let's take a look. I know specifically Euro JPY did very good this week. I was looking. It had some nice growth here. You can see it hadn't had any growth since the 5th of November, right? So it was pretty slow the next few weeks. It was stuck in some trades maybe, and then all of a sudden it popped up some growth here, right? And this is why we run each pair individually. And soon I'm going to be releasing all these FX books so you guys can have them all. Just important things to note. These are a lot of live accounts. Some of the histories on these are custom. Some of these are just old trading accounts I've had from before that I tossed $500 in to be able to, just run all of these. So many of them are custom history to be able to just show when they were loaded for these individual tests. But we'll take a look, and that was Euro JPY this week. Now, I know GBP NZD as well did very well this week, and GBP NZD has actually been doing very well on swing settings. Remember, I'm running swing settings on every one of these individual pairs, and the reason I'm doing that is I wanted to see what the earliest entry settings, how they performed on each currency pair, and say, okay, like for example, Euro AUD, swing settings still got us in a 10% drawdown. What do I look at that data and say, okay, and remember this is a $500 account, so 10% drawdown is $50, right? But still, I look at that and I say, okay, maybe the swing on Euro AUD is still entering too soon, right? Or AUD USD, I'm looking, okay, the swing is definitely entering too soon. Look at the drawdown versus the gain so far. You know, maybe AUD USD is more of a sniper type, right? You know, or maybe even sniper's too early. Maybe swing needs to be raised to the sniper entry, and maybe sniper needs to be raised, right? I look at this data to be able to forward test and say, do we have the entries right? Does it make sense? USD CAD. The drawdowns produced almost the same amount as the return. Maybe we're again entering a little too soon there, and we can take a look at the analytics of some of these. So let's take a look at analytics, the ones that are returning a higher drawdown versus their return so far since starting, right? Let's take a look at that. So we'll take a look at USD CAD. Its profit factor is still good, but you look and it's only won 81% of the trades. I mean, that's still, to any trader, that's incredible, but again, it's the swing strategy. Its average loss is higher than its average win, which is expected with the swing strategy, but maybe it could be bumped up, right? That's what I would look at there. Maybe I say the swing entry on that could be bumped up, or maybe AUD I say the same thing, right? Where we're looking around the same, 83%. Profit factor still good. And like I said, if some of this sounds like Chinese, you're going to get to continue to better understand all of that as we continue through these calls. And, you know, I hope that you can follow a lot of it. And then again, I'm going to get into all the questions and answers near the end here. This strategy, the profit factor looks all right. It has had a higher drawdown. It's monthly. It's producing up with that. And all right. And then, like I said, was GBP NZD, which I was very impressed with, that its drawdown was, you know, immaculately nothing on swing strategy so far. And I know on sniper, it does incredible. But if you look at this, it's actually won every single trade. It's literally caught 890 pips since October 27th, just on GBP NZD. For some of you who are manual traders, you might look at that and go, wow, that's a good amount of pips in just one currency pair from, you know, one EA strategy. And that with a very low drawdown. I mean, that could almost be its own signals right there. You know, it's just for those people who trade, you can look at using this to manually trade and take more trades on your own trading account, right? There's so many ways you can use GearBox that just continue to impress me. But let's go ahead and, you know, you guys have seen a lot of these pairs, seen how they've been able to perform. Again, this is the swing data, right? A lot of people love data. I love to come with data, live account data, especially, so that people can see really what's going on, what's working the best. As you see, GBP NZD's caught the most amount of pips. If we go look at total pips caught too, Euro AUD, it's caught 485. And I bet you had the swing entry been a little higher on Euro AUD, to where we didn't get into some of that drawdown, there'd be more profitable pips here. You know, because obviously the losses subtract from the positive. Somebody said your laptop battery's going to die. Thank you for the heads up. That is an important notice. All right. Go. We should be plugged in and good to go. All right. So I want to go ahead and actually open up the Q&As. I'm going to start reading through and see what questions I can answer. I haven't answered. I know that's, you know, everyone's favorite part, so they can learn, understand data. In the meantime, I'm going to actually leave some of this data displayed. So some of these are different accounts. These are the 24 pair accounts. People can check out. I'm going to display it at a different time while I'm answering some questions as well. The one pair data, again, for those of you who haven't seen it. And then we're going to revisit some things. So let me get into the chat and let me pull up the Q&A. I have a lot of great questions here. I'm going to start back at the top of the chat, and we are going to work our way down here. All right. First question we see from CJ Noakes here. He said him and his team are all on Sniper, Ghost plus Real, and they experienced their trades closing early, hitting stop loss and very small profit. It seemed like it could be a trailing stop loss. Has anyone else experienced this the week after the update? So CJ, what we've noticed is with the update, we had found some bugs in the previous version, and we're always debugging things and finding little things, right? If there's anything dangerous ever, we'll make sure we let you know. Kind of like how we noticed the GearBox loader wasn't, people were kind of trying to use things too soon before it got a chance to load it all on. And we made an immediate important announcement about that because we thought that that was somewhat dangerous, right? But if there's anything ever dangerous in the software, we'll let you know. Most of the time, it's just little simple bugs. And when we applied the new update, we noticed that it did apply to old existing trades that it might have seen a flaw in some trailing stops once they were profitable just to get out. We are investigating that. And we are looking to see why that happened, as well as the fact that trailing stop losses currently should not exist above 0 and 1. And we did address that in our latest update, as it was happening to a lot of people on double take profit settings and should not be happening as much anymore. Now we are investigating into that. We also are investigating into some scenarios where people have 2 trades open on the same currency pair and they have different take profits. We are investigating that as well. So far, it's not dangerous, as again, GearBox has a strategy, but we do believe they should keep the same to keep things simple. So we are working on those 2 things. Let me keep going through. Jeanette made a funny comment in here that I love. She said, I love GB as it is less stress. She says less DD equals less stress. And Jeanette, I could not agree more with you. Bojan said, can you maximize your loader chart pair? The selected strategy stays highlighted in gray, right? Do any of the settings in the loader edit the max pairs trading? So Bojan, if I go into the loader again here, and it seems like this thing is actually still frozen. If this happens, you might actually want to click it and get the not responding here message for a minute. Tends to help. But once you're in the loader, I'll go ahead and load it up real quick over here. Let me add gold real quick, and I'm just gonna load the loader, and we're gonna talk about it again. As again, the loader is a tool. It's not meant to be what you rely on for everything. It's something to help you get set up here. But let's say we go ahead and we drag the loader on. I'm not sure if I put the brand new one on this account yet. I think I did, but we're going to go ahead and take a peek. Yes, I did. All right. So the loader on my personal VPS, as you see, kind of loaded up like butter. I don't know where I just put it, though. Oh, over here. Okay. So we'll full screen this. And I'm on this account, I am running swing. So we're actually just going to click it again. This account is a swing ghost plus real. It is going to modify my lot size, so I'm going to have to go through and change that. Now we're going to watch it on my personal VPS, just kind of initiate and rock and do its thing here. But yes, you'll see that it will leave the last one you clicked indented. Now, if you go and hit a bunch of these, it's going to indent them all, and you're not going to know which one you're on. So it's important to know which one you're choosing right now when actually choosing it. So, you know, these aren't all indented and you're not confused on which one you click last. But you will know if you close the chart, it won't be indented anymore when you open it. It's just kind of there to let you know what you actually clicked. And then in the experts, it's going to do its thing. Now I have 6 other instances of GearBox running. So as you see, this might actually freeze this VPS in itself, as it does have live trades open. Anytime you're using the loader, you have to understand what it's doing. And the reason that it's going to freeze a VPS often is it's literally reinitializing the EA on every single currency chart you have. And if you have 25 charts open, you're literally initiating an EA, trying to initiate it instantly on 25 currency pairs. And for anyone who understands trading, every chart you have open uses CPU processing power. In fact, even this little market watch window uses a lot of processing power. But you can see now it's responding, and it's going ahead and it's trying to load in all of these Oh, it's not going to actually work. The loader, I know why it's not going to work. I need GearBox to be named GearBox here on this account, and currently it's named GearBox Master. So the loader's not even going to work on this account right now, as I have the wrong EA name on my charts. And because of that, my EA is actually not on any of the charts right now. So I have to fix that in a minute, but you guys won't ever have that problem because we handle that all for you. That is all on my personal end. Let me get back here into the chats. Gracie said, where do you go to look at gear level data? Gracie, great question. The level data you can see on your UI of all of your charts. So if we go over to another one of my accounts here, you can see right here in the UI, AUD CHF, we're in a cell level or cell level 1 right here. Buy -1 means we're not in any buy. So if you see -1, that means you're not in any trade in the Ghost server on a buy. If you see 0, that means that you're in a level 0 sell. If you see 1, that means you're in a sell level 1. If you see 2, you're in a sell level 2 or gear 2, whatever you want to call it. And that's how you would get that visual to see on your UI what is going on. I see an advanced question here from Joseph. He said to comment on the following combined gearbox strategy, balance of 1200 to each group of the pairs. He said, according to the data table you provide on the one pair that opens the most trades in all that group, I would set super sniper. Then on that one, it seems like he has a whole strategy. So to put it to you, however you want to do it, right? The sniper, the swing, they are kind of templates, and I provide this data to let you customize it to your liking, right? You can say, okay, and that's why I was showing the one pair data. That's what's so important with the one pair data that I'm starting to gather for everyone is when you look at this data, you can go ahead and you can see, all right, swing settings, you know, or even sniper, right? You can see your AUD, maybe it moves more. Maybe you want to increase your sniper. Maybe you want to increase your swing. You know, you can take a look at the data and kind of understand what pairs are doing what based on what settings and what we already have, and then kind of customize to your liking. So everyone can really, you know, customize their liking. The swing and sniper templates are really just there to kind of be something for you to have ground on and understand the foundation of GearBox. Sandy said, can you compare the performance between Sniper, TP, and Ghost plus Real? Sniper isn't a take profit setting. Sniper is a strategy. I believe you mean double TP and Ghost plus Real, Sandy. In which case, Ghost plus Real is going to be typically a longer strategy. The reason for that is how the take profit is determined is with Ghost plus Real. Let's say you're entering on a level 5. Okay. Well, it's going to calculate the take profit for this one trade, that level 5 trade, based on if it needs to make up the drawdown for the 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 trade. Even though you don't have those open on your account, it's going to calculate your take profit based on as if it needed to make up for all of those. And what a double take profit is it's basically saying, if I only was in this level 5 trade, no other trades, what would I set the take profit as? And then it doubles it. So double TP could maybe make enough to have covered these trades, right? But maybe not all of them. So, you know, or maybe enough to cover that. It depends on your entry. But inherently, double TP is typically going to always be a smaller take profit than Ghost plus Real based on how it's designed. And Ghost plus Real should typically always be the longer strategy. Now, there are some cases where this could change, but that would be if you made your own customizations outside of the current swing and sniper strategy. What does starting lot enters on setting do? Awesome question. In fact, great question. So inside of your software, you have a setting. Many of you have maybe seen it before. We're going to cover it real quick. And you're going to see starting lot enters on real trades or ghost trades? And I think this is a great question. This is actually one of the things that makes GearBox so powerful as well for risk management, especially for smaller accounts. Entering on real trades means that even though we're trading in the ghost server levels 0, 1, 2, 3, if you had it your starting lot enter in the ghost trades, it would deploy your starting lot right here. So if you were on a small account, it would deploy it as a 0.01 in the ghost trade. And by the time it hit your level 4, instead of deploying a 0.01, it would deploy a 0.05. So that's the difference. It's basically saying, do you want me to multiply the lot size based on your settings in the ghost trades before I enter in the real market? Or do you want to enter your starting lot size as soon as I take my first real market trade outside of the ghost server? And that feature was such a game changer for risk management because you're not multiplying your lot. You're putting that starting lot down here at a sniper entry, and you're not risking having larger lots open in the market. It allows GearBox to be a low exposure product. So incredible question there. Matt Jazz asked a great question here. He said, I would like to test before with a different setup, but I cannot do the backtest strategy test. How can I do that? Matt Jazz, you can actually not backtest GearBox because of how the Ghost gears work and how GearBox is set up. There's currently no way to backtest GearBox. We've worked on trying to program in the ways to do it, but it is very complex program in its ability. So we're actually building a separate program that is in the works. It is on our to-do list, known as a GearBox simulator. Our plans with that product is to make a full simulation where it's going to be its own program that pulls raw data, and you can basically run a simulation of your GearBox setups through historical data. Now, this is a very advanced project. I have no ETA on delivery date, but this is something we have started to work on as of even 2 months ago, and we're continuing to advance it and get to a point that we're excited to have it out, as it will become also a game changer for every one of our GearBox users. But for now, what we have is a lot of different data and strategy and forward testing, and really for traders to understand that average true range of where retracements happen for most currency pairs and how often they go X amount of pairs and what your risk is, right? So GearBox is very great product on that, just because of the risk management settings, which we can get into in some of the questions, I'm sure, as I continue on here. Thomas Love said also one comment, I think it would be better software updates to GearBox are released over the weekend. When it was released over the week, GearBox lost all the ghost trades and then have to start ghost trades from level 0 in the middle of the week. Thomas Love, that's a great point. We are aware, but we did see some bugs in the previous version we didn't like, and we did want to get them addressed and get a new version out that addressed many of them, so that we could continue to debug and find anything else and move forward, as we were still getting support tickets for things we had fixed, and we needed to get that update out. And also there were were supposedly going to be some volatile meetings this week. They didn't actually do anything to the market, which wasn't that exciting, because GearBox does its best during some market movement and volatility, kind of like election week. But as you saw, this week has been a very slow week in the markets for GearBox. Simon said, I just upgraded to a silver pass and I'm going to start a second GearBox with 750 to 1,000 euro count Sunday. He said, if he's running this on Sniper, how many active pairs would you recommend to be a little more aggressive? Okay, so great question, Simon. I can't recommend anything. All I can do is show you data. And I can tell you that when we take a look at data, all right, here is a Sniper account, right, that's running 3 max pairs. It's my 40K account here, and it's running 3 max pairs on Sniper, and it's done incredible. It's had a 6.3% drawdown right now. This is a bigger account. Now we go back and we take a look at that Sniper account that was doing a 2,000, and it was at 12.5% DDs. That's double the DD with double the amount of pairs. So again, that's all based on data and live testing with the same settings. So you can kind of see double the risk, double the DD, right? It kind of matches up right there. So that's inherently kind of up to you, but by default, the sniper strategy on $1,000 balance trades 3 pairs. So if you have 1,000 USD, 3 max pairs is good. Anything more than that, I would maybe get the balance up a little bit more. But again, I also have the swing account running 1,500, and it's at a 16% drawdown, and it's entering a little earlier into trades. So it's kind of up to you. But yeah, I would say risk wise, if you kept your starting lot where it is, and between 4 and 6, yes, that would be the way to increase your risk. So again, the ways to increase risk, there's many ways, but the 2 simplest ways for a brand new person, if you were wanting to do that, or even decrease risk, is going to be decrease your max pairs trading or increase your max pairs trading. I never personally myself would trade more than 6 max pairs. That's kind of, my limit. I don't like to ever take more exposure to the market than that at a single time with this strategy. That is, and doing that, you could also increase your lot or decrease your lot, right? The rule of thumb is about 0.01 per 1,000. And you can stick to a 0.01 on a 250 balance or a 500, right? It's just a little riskier, but typical rule of thumb is 0.01 per 1,000. All right. Curtis said, my gearbox is showing error modifying double TP. Is this okay? Curtis, that's actually what I meant by there was a small bug initially in some old trades from previous versions. Is we saw a bug in double take profit. So that error is fine right now. Those are just happening on your old trades that you had from the previous version, which they have their take profit set. So they will hit as normal. Don't worry about that. It's just picking up that there was a bug there. And that's why it's having an error. And, once that works out, it'll be perfectly fine. So if you see that in your experts, don't worry about it. As long as you have a take profit set and it's in profit, then you're good to go. Morrow, great question. He said, if Gearbox is so CPU intensive, can we have the VPS beefed up? Morrow, just so you can know, on a corporate side, they are looking into all options, such as optimizing Gearbox in a way. There's tons of different things we're looking at to make Gearbox run more efficiently on the current VPSs, as well as what even possible upgraded VPSs could look like. We're looking at all these things. Of course, beefed up VPSs would cost the customer more money for those people who wanted those beefed up VPSs. Do you have an FX book for a 6K account using Gearbox? I do not. Let's continue going on. Mohammed said, my Gearbox did not trade this week. I rebooted my VPS, changed my strategy on Sunday, and it did not trade this week. Mine is a Gearbox non-map. Can you suggest what I should do for next week? Mohammed, I would go ahead and take a look into your logs, your experts, and make sure everything's set up properly. If you didn't take any trades this week, again, it could be one of those slow weeks if you're running sniper strategy, or if you're running a super sniper strategy as well. I can tell you, I know my super sniper strategy account, which that account did not get an update on Tuesday, as it's a personal account. I'm looking for it right here. I know that account just took one trade this week on USD JPY. That's the only trade I've gotten on even super sniper this week. So slow week, but again, this account also didn't have that reset on Tuesday. So regardless, it was a slow week, but as some of us mentioned, the update where it cleared ghost trades on Tuesday may not have helped, as the market in general was just very, very slow. Andrew, great question. He said, 0 trades on a $500 demo account using default 500 ghost strategy. What strategy should I use just to see it trade so I know it actually works? I don't care about a loss since it's demo. I just want to make sure it actually trades at all before my trial ends. Andrew, if you want to instantly see a trade with Gearbox and see it works, one of the things you can do, and I'm going to teach you all this on the call just so you can know you're set up properly and that it does work. Go to one of your currency pairs while the market is open, and you can actually go here. And since it's after you would basically just go to one currency pair here, and you would modify both of these to say -1. So only gears above -1. If your gearbox instantly sends you an MAV alert or instantly sends you a trade, you are set up properly. So that is a way to test it. For those of you who are saying, am I set up properly? Is it working properly? Here's how you can quickly test that. Now, don't go do that to all your charts. Only do this to one chart. And if you don't care about the loss, of course, and if you're going to test it, do it at a 0.01 lot. So when you close the trade out at a loss, if you do, right, that, you're out of the trade. But that's how you would test that, is -1, -1. Just throw those there. If it takes a trade, sends you an alert, it's working. Right. So that is a great question, Andrew. I'm glad you asked that. That is a quick way to test that you are set up properly when using the gearbox. Tomislav says, is it possible to run 2 gearbox EAs on the same VPS using a silver pass? Yes, it is. On the one I showed you guys running the 10K, I actually had 2 gearboxes running there. I know some people running 2 gearboxes on the current VPS. Just when setting them up, you will want to close the other one out until you're done, setting them all up, just so, and then let them open both back up to run after that. Do you have your settings trading on Sunday and Saturday? Bojan said. I believe by default I do, and you should too. Yeah, I have this thing trading. It just waits till 2 hours after market open, and if there's trades, it's gonna be trading. Now you can change that, but by default, it is looking to take ghost trades all day long, every day. Now I've made it to that end of the chat here, so I'm going to get into the Q&A. We have some great questions I already see. We're going to start out here with Marie. Marie Weeks has some great questions, so let me get into those. I'm going to go back to some of the data here again, so you guys can see what's going on. I also did, I do want to show this real quick. I also do have an account now that is only running the 7 majors. I did turn it off for a period in time. It was actually off for about 2 months. So you'll see it ran August to September 8th. So about a month. And then I turned it off from September until October 26th. So almost 2 months off, and I turned it back on. But this is now just running the 7 majors and doing its thing. You can see it's had an incredible November. And this is a 7 majors. Now it does have a little bit of increased risk at a 0.01 per 750 lot size, but I do have it now just 7 majors live account running as well. I am looking to start one just running the 18 minors, no majors. And I'm looking to start a bunch of accounts also just using double TP, not Ghost plus Real. I've been using Ghost plus Real on all my accounts because I like to go for the larger moves. Again, double TP, it's going to take a smaller move, but it's going to get you in and out of trade sooner, meaning that you won't stay in as consolidated pairs. Or there's times with Ghost plus Real where your account might be in 4 or 5% profit and doesn't close out any of the trades and it ends back up in drawdown. You could use your trailing weekly goal for that feature too, or other features to take you out of the game if you wanted. For me, I just kind of by default let it run. So we've added all those control features in there so you have them. Let me go back to the 25 pair data for you guys. All right. Marie said, I had 2 weeks of sniper, double TP, and made 5.1% and 4.7, but this week I had no trades at all, plus 6 of my people have not had a trade at all this week. What has been the problem? We just found out on Tuesday's update, if we click OK when we change any setting, it automatically clears out all ghost trades and start all over again building the correct gear. If this is so, then I feel this nuisance should have been pointed out at the beginning. Delete ghost trades weekend. Do you recommend that we delete ghost trades over the weekend? So, Marie, first answer that. Yes, anytime you make a settings change, the reason that it resets the ghost gears isn't to be a nuisance. It's so that you don't have trades open on your account with improper settings. Because if we don't change those, reset those, then the trades that were already running in the ghost server are going to continue at whatever lot size you had previously, at whatever range multiplier you had previously, and they're going to deploy them on your account at those old settings before you change them. So the only way for settings to take immediate effect when you make changes to your settings is for you to have the ghost trades reset on that currency pair anytime you make a change to it, because we need the trades to take instant effect. So that's very important. Now, ghost trades over the weekend, yes, that setting is by default put at yes. The reason for deleting ghost trades over the weekend, that's all personal preference, but in my personal reasoning why I like to do it is because I believe it's best for the software to start analyzing based on a new week, any new trade, right? Why, let's say you were close to having a gear enter on Friday at market close, and let's just say some news comes out over the weekend, and Sunday market opens, and now you enter that trade, and all of a sudden you're stuck in a trend that really wasn't valid anymore. Whereas if the ghost trades had reset, it's now analyzing it on a fresh week. It's going to be more likely to get a better entry all around, right? It's just increasing your accuracy. And so somebody said, is swing riskier than sniper to increase the number of trades? Again, yes, I think we covered this a little bit here on this call, that swing inherently does take more trades, least profitable trades. It does have worse trades than it has good trades in terms of pips. There's a lot of different reasons there for things that happen. So that is, that's definitely one thing. Protect initial deposit mode. Somebody says, at what point does that kick in here? Marie, what point does that kick in? That means that if you actually take a loss below your initial deposit, it's going to stop taking any new trades. You'll also see there's balance protection mode. Whereas if we go in here, balance protection, what balance protection mode does. So let's open up the settings here. All right, so balance protection settings, you see protect initial deposit. This means if you ever take a loss below your initial deposit, it's not going to take any new trades. It's going to stop trading, only manage the current open trades. Balance protection is based in percent, and it's a value. What this means is that at 25% drawdown in this example, it's going to completely stop taking any new trades, right? So it's not going to take any new trades. It's going to manage the existing trades, but it's going to stop taking any new trades. So if a black swan event happens, if something happens and you end up in 25% drawdown, this thing is never going to take another trade until it's less than 25%. It's not taking trades because, it's in 25% drawdown. It's just going to stop, and it'll only manage your open trades. I think this is such a cool risk management feature as well. Before that ever happens, you're going to get notifications of drawdown, 10% and 20%. If you have your alert set up, you're going to get these to your mobile MT4. How you can get these alerts is, again, go into your mobile MT4, get your MetaQuotes number, and you're going to be able to put it here for notification. So you'll be able to enable this. You'll be able to click off that, put your MetaQuotes ID from your iPhone, and you're going to be able to go ahead and get this rocking and get your notifications. All right, so let's continue going in here and see what else we have. All right. Great question. Jahan Zeb asked, will it start counting the pips gears from the beginning of the week or from the point of the previous point where the sequence was closed during the week? So it's counting based on the trade when it enters. So there's a base algorithm that's trading in the Ghost server. It's not just counting pips this way and that way, right? The software is actually trading in the Ghost trades behind the scenes. So there's another thing. There might be a time that you see, okay, a move has happened and I haven't entered a trade in. It says I'm in a level 0 on this pair, but I see 150 pip moves happened. Well, in that case, what could have happened is the base algorithm could have been on the correct side of that trade, and it was trading with it, meaning that you didn't get into the drawdown in the Ghost server to enter your trade. So you see on USD CAD right now, we're in a buy gear 3. So that, this thing as well is it's deep in a trade on this Super Sniper account. So Somebody said, what is an anonymous attendee? So somebody here in this example said, what different take profit actually means? How much pips with double take profit? How is ghost plus real calculated? Again, that's all by the algorithm. It's going to differ by pair. It's all calculated within the math of the actual algorithm. I'm not going to get into equations here, but in the simplest answer of how they're calculated is it's going to vary. It's ghost plus real is going to calculate based on the drawdown you're in and how many pips it needs to catch to mathematically get you out of it if you're using ghost plus real. Double TP is simply just going to look to set a take profit based on the trade you enter and then double whatever it would have set. That's really its orders and the logic. So, that's the simplest explanation because it will vary based on your entries and everything. The pairs you're trading. Anonymous Andy said, can you post the settings for each strategy if we want to set up the charts manually and not use the loader? If you want to not use the loader, all you got to do is just look at this here colored chart. You take the gear entry and you change your gear entries. So if you wanted to go on AUD CAD, you would say, okay, I want to use sniper. I only want to trade gears above 2 and after Wednesday increase to 3, right? So that's how you'd set it up manually. If you don't want to use the loader, you can just drag GearBox on each chart. You're going to want to make sure all your common boxes are checked, and you would just simply look at this chart and be able to come up with that data. Ann said, if I set lot size in each pair, do I have to clear ghost trades manually? And no, you do not have to clear ghost trades manually. They will clear themselves when you set the lot size. Since most trade lot sizes are micro lots and max pairs typically 4, would 50 and 1 leverage be sufficient? No, Rod. 50 and 1 leverage is not going to be sufficient. GearBox ideally is going to be needing at least for small capital 1 in 500. For a little bit larger, 1 in 200 is fine. And 100K plus, obviously 1 in 100 is perfectly fine as well. Mariska asked a great question. She said, can I switch from swing to sniper during the weekend when there is still a series of trades open I can carry over the weekend? How will that impact that series? Mariska, any series will be cleared. Whenever you switch settings, it's going to clear the ghost trades, even if it's over the weekend. It is going to go ahead and clear those out on any settings change. All right, I'm continuing to read through here and find some questions for us. Let me open this so you guys have some data. Didn't realize I was muted there. Sorry. Parish said, for your portfolios, are you using starting lot on real or ghost trades? My starting lot is on real trades, Parish. During red news, shall I stop auto trading? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. I am a big fan of just letting GearBox run. It's all up to you, how you want to manage your risk. But the reason I like trading news is that's where GearBox is getting its entries most of the time, right? Is market movements. GearBox needs volatility. A lot of EAs are fragile. They can't handle volatility because a quick move like that is actually them getting into drawdown and failing. Whereas with GearBox, a quick move like that is you actually typically sniping a great entry. So there's going to definitely be big major red news events you might want to pause it for. If you're an extra conservative person, awesome. But there's also those news events where you have to understand that news is where you're going to see GearBox snipe a lot of the entries. Does the gear level depend? Let's see. I'm trying to find some good questions. Mariska, I'm glad you covered that. You were asking what happens to live trades over the weekend. So if you have live trades and you make changes to the strategy over the weekend, that's perfectly okay. GearBox is designed to where it's portable, meaning that it can pick up even if you destroyed your VPS and got a new one. It's going to be able to pick up the trade sequence based on where you left off. So you'll be good to go. It'll pick up that trade when you change the strategy, or if you ever had to get a new VPS, right? It'll pick up all those. So no worries there. Min, can you also manually trade on GearBox? Please do not manually trade on the same account you're using GearBox on. GearBox does not like that because it is built into where it picks up any trades in the Go server on the currency pairs. So if it sees you manually trade, it's going to kind of just mess with it. And it's going to be like, why is this trade open? I didn't do this. And it's going to see then the Go server, and it may mess with it being able to even take a trade on that pair. So it's best to not manually trade on the same account. It can kind of just affect its ability to continue to take trades because it will throw it off a little bit. So ideally manually trade on a separate account than GearBox. That is the best way to do it. But I believe Matt just says in the setup, there's a range between gears of 21 pips, but I saw in your results, the grid are 50 pips and more. Matt just, I don't know what you're talking about. All my accounts are the same settings as released in the templates here. 21 range between gears. And this is my 250 account. We go to all of them. They're all the same settings I'm showing you. I've never used a 50 grid on any account. So yeah, 21 there. Muhammad said, when should I do the gear -1? Muhammad, you don't do the gear -1 unless you just want to test to see your gearbox is set up properly and it takes a trade. Somebody suggested, how can I see before my trial ends that it does work? It can take a trade. The EA set up properly. And I told him just put -1 as the gear and it's instantly going to take a trade, right? So you'll instantly either see an MAV alert or you'll instantly see a trade. You will want to close that trade out manually. Don't do it on a volatile pair, especially like GBP. If you're going to go test it, do it on, a somewhat normal slow moving pair, such as like Euro USD maybe, or AUD USD, right? Not some of the more volatile ones. Oh, Matches, I see what you're saying. If you calculate, yeah. So, but again, that's the range multiplier. So by default, you put 21 there, but you have a setting called a range multiplier, and your range multiplier is by default at 1.35. And if you look, that's what this equals. So it means the range is going to get multiplied by 1.35 every single position. So by a level 5, your range is already 69. Now another 93 pips has to happen before you could enter level 6, right? And then you have your total pips. So yes, by default, I leave my range at 21, and they increase as time goes on based on my range multiplier. And that's where all this data matches up with the entry data. So. Sebastian says, what if -1 and -1 doesn't open the trade? What to do? You're going to want to look in your experts tab. You're going to want to make sure that there's a few things you're going to want to do. I released a video on it too, but I'll cover it again here on this call. First thing, you're going to go in tools, options. You're going to make sure under expert advisors, these aren't checked. You don't want these checked on your customer accounts. On mine, it's working because mine's set up a little differently, as I don't have on these master accounts my AP backend connect. You're going to want to make sure that this is all you see checked. Allow DLL, allow automated trading. All right, you're going to go ahead and just hit OK there. You're going to want to see that. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to go into your chart, and you're going to want to make sure under common that you have allow live trading. You also are going to want to have this checked. You're going to make sure these are checked, right? See that these are checked. And then you're going to want to make sure that auto trading's on. And if you don't see a trade alert after that, then you're going to need to look at your experts. There could be another problem, all right, where maybe you're logged in with your investor password instead of your password that allows you to take trades. at that point, the experts tab is going to be able to tell you more of what's going on, because you're going to want to look for an error to see, okay, why did I not take a trade? And you might get error, your broker's blocking it. You might get that you have investor password logged in. There's many reasons for why, you put -1, and you don't instantly see the trade. So if that happens, that's the few things to investigate and look into. All right. All right. So where can I get a recording of the Zoom Min? You're going to be able to see all recordings of these Zooms inside of your AP Live section in your AP Academy. So when you go into your back office, you'll see your AP Academy, and inside there, you're going to find AP Live. And AP Live is where all our live recording calls are going to be from all of our different products and our coaching. Matt Jazz, again, please, he asked, when there's only one open trade for one currency pair at GearBox, and I'd like to manually close, how can I close that? Okay, no, I thought you were saying if you want to manually take a trade. Okay, if there's only one trade open for one currency pair and you'd like to manually close, how can I close it? Will that be okay? You just close it on your account. That's okay. Please, just whatever you guys do, don't manually trade on the same account as GearBox. It's just not ideal. And again, it just please don't do it. And if you are going to manually trade, do it on a separate account. Min said, I also haven't been getting a lot of trade alerts. Is there a reason? That's because the market is very slow. It's just been extremely slow on these pairs. There has not been a lot of movement that has triggered the entries for sniper, even swing. For all of my accounts, I've noticed it's been a very slow week. If we even go to my swing account here, hold on, let's take a look. Let's organize by symbol. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is important. I want you guys to look at this. This is a swing account of mine, and it allows 6 maximum pairs to trade. And right now there's only 4 open. So that shows you that there aren't even that many trade opportunities for swing. And swing is earlier entry. So yeah, it's just been a very slow week for GearBox. There's going to be weeks like this. There's going to be great weeks. There's going to be slow weeks where the market's just not moving. And again, the hardest lesson I can, tell anyone about trading, and something I've had to learn over and over again, is sometimes the best time for a trader is knowing when not to trade, right? It's knowing when you should not be in the market or when you shouldn't be trading. And again, GearBox looks for very precise entries. So sometimes you have to have patience to get those proper entries. And I know we had a great first week. A lot of people came in and had amazing results. And then it's been a little bit slower this week. And some people have been wondering what's going on. And that's going to happen. Great question as well, Min. Can you use GearBox and indices like SPX 500, US 30? I would not currently do that, as we don't have the data. But if you are an advanced trader and you understand what you're doing, then to use it on any currency pair, what you want to understand is typically the average. You're going to want to understand the average true entry. You're going to want to understand how far that currency pair normally has a movement before it retraces historically. And then you want to know typically how many pips does it retrace when it does, right? So how far does the movement go? Typically, when does it retrace? How far does that retracement typically go? And then how many pips does it maximum move? And then based on that, you could customize all your settings. And inside of our EA Academy, you're going to find videos where I've explained what each and every setting does, so that you could customize an experience to your liking based on different currency pairs you would like to trade if you're a more experienced user and you want to play with some more things. Philip, for your purpose of research, you said, what was the worst situation you've seen with max 6 and all 6 had high drawdown? To be honest, I haven't had a situation where all 6 had super high drawdown. I have had a situation where all 6 were in drawdown. If we look at swing, so if we go over here to my swing account, we're going to take a look at this 1500 6 pairs. And you're going to see there were times I had, 16% drawdown. And when these happened, I did also hit stop losses. There were losses taken here. You can see the losses, right? There's a loss here. There was a loss here. There's a loss here. right? You can see the few losses that were taken where stop losses actually were hit. So that was also a possibility. You can see that my worst trade did hit a 500 pip stop loss. That did happen, right, on swing settings. So that was one of the worst situations on the swing with 6 max running. If you go and look at my sniper 2000, what was our worst situation here? We haven't had really a lot of losses. Our worst trade was 95 pips. But we did have a 12.5% drawdown at some point here on September 11th, actually. Matt just said, so you prefer to have more open active pairs and smaller lot size, or have less active open pairs? Matt says, I prefer to have less active open pairs. Like I said, with my strategy, I am. I'll show you guys. I haven't even connected an FX book to it, but I do have. I'll pull it up for you guys for a second. Let me find it. It's I believe it was on Cloud Trader 2 here. I believe. Yep, it's frozen though. I have a slower VPS this one's running on, but I have an account that is running all 24 max pairs trading at the same time. So it's allowing, but it's a 100K demo, and it's trading a 0.01 starting lot size. So I'm just doing it for data collection. But for live money, I really believe in sticking to the rule of thumb of 0.01 per lot and not trading more than 3 to 6 max pairs at once. Could you, if you wanted to, decrease the lot size and, say you wanted to run all 25 currency pairs at once, could you have a 25K account with a 0.01 starting lot size and run all of them on Sniper? Absolutely, if you want, right? That's the great thing about this software. We're letting you do whatever you want with it. Could you do that? Yes. Am I doing that right now? No. Maybe I'll start an experimental account and do that. Not a bad idea. I have some funds I could diversify to it, but overall, the point in telling you that is just to to get at. I'm not a big fan of exposing more risk, because the other thing about allowing a certain max pairs to trade is it's also a risk management feature, because you're keeping your exposure out of other pairs that are trading at that same time too, that maybe even though they have an entry, you're just that maybe that entry goes against it farther and you don't even get in that trade, right? There's other risk management features to your max pairs trading, which I'm a big fan of. Cyrus said, what's your indication to not trade on a particular week? If you're referring to my FX books where there was times I had them off, that was actually just while I was making updates to software. Some accounts I just didn't update or, keep running while I was, debugging things early on in beta times. But for the most part, I run GearBox through everything. I ran it through elections. I ran it through OPEC. I've ran it through, pretty much everything. There's not been a reason where I've said, okay, I'm not going to run GearBox this week because of this event. If anything, I might just raise my gears higher if I see that there's some major world news around a certain currency pair, like the US with elections, right? It all kind of depends on how you want to go about it. Zen Trader said this week, I've had it set on Sniper, max 6 pairs, but only had one trade this week. It closed in profit, but no other trades opened. I think it's a slow week. Zen Trader, you are correct. It has been a super, super slow week. It really has. When you look, like I said, I looked and showed you this example of this account. It's got 6 max pairs trading. And if you look, most of these trades were actually opened for the most part last week. Any ones that were opened this week were actually just cost averages into ones that were open from last week, right? So you actually see I've taken no brand new entries this week on new pairs, right? Even though these trades have opened this week, these were just to continue on from trades from last week. So even on swing, I didn't enter any brand new trades this week. So I'm just showing you guys real data. This is happening in my accounts too. We had a slow week. There were not a lot of trades. I know some people might be very disappointed with the fact that they didn't get a lot of trades this week. understand GearBox is a monthly thing. It is not a weekly type of product in the sense that there's going to be slow weeks like this. There's also going to be great weeks. And that's why we do preach diversification as well here in Auvoria Prime, because, you know, maybe if you were only using GearBox, you didn't see a return this week. Maybe if you were using GearBox, Variable, and Einstein, you saw a return somewhere. Or maybe there's times where all three products don't return in a week, right? It happens. That's a part of it. But do understand that GearBox is looking for very precise entries, and that is why it doesn't instantly trade. So, you know, don't be in shock if you didn't see a lot of trades this week. It doesn't mean anything was set up wrong. It's the market. And see, these are the people that understand trading. Zen Trader said, I'm not disappointed. I actually love the fact it only waits for the right trades. I think it's a good idea to diversify into other products, and that is a good idea in the future. That's it. You know, it's waiting for the right trades, but be diversified. Have a plethora of products from the Auvoria Prime marketplace. I know I will, and I know I already do. But as we continue to scale this marketplace, I'll have money in every single product that Auvoria Prime markets and licenses and sells to the world. Let's see what else we have going on in the Q&A here. These are some great questions. I'm glad we're gonna cover some of these real quick. Mariska said, have you thought about the holidays? We know the pros will take vacation from mid-December until the first week of New Year. I'm wondering whether or not to stay in the markets then. To be honest, the only reason a lot of people don't like to play, I feel like, in the markets then is, yes, there's not a lot of liquidity, which can create different volatile situations. For me, I think that anything, I'm going to run GearBox and I'm just going to leave it on higher entries, to whereas if something does happen, even if I get stuck in that trade for a week or two, when it finally does swing and the liquidity comes back, you know, if a large enough moves happen, once that liquidity comes back, it's going to hit its take profit, right? It's almost kind of general, especially with sniper, super sniper. So I think I'm going to run it. I think during the holidays, I don't plan on turning it off. I just plan on being conservative and sticking to sniper and super sniper strategies for accounts and just kind of let it do its thing. But I do expect it to be slow during those weeks. Don't get me wrong. I don't expect it to be one of those weeks where all of a sudden, everyone's making a fortune with GearBox and all the other EAs are off. No, I do think I will run GearBox through it as well, being that, you are waiting for such a precise setup. And when you look over historical data of even those weeks, you'll notice that nothing crazy's happened. The real reason I think a lot of people don't trade with their EAs is if you do get stuck in a trend, you're now stuck in it for 2-3 weeks, right? And you have a bunch of trades open. You have a lot of lots open. You're incurring swap fees throughout that whole period. Whereas, with GearBox, if you're in 1 or 2 trades and not 10 or 20, swap fees aren't as dangerous for you. So that's another good thing. Like I said, low lot exposure. Min, great question. Can you get GearBox to hedge positions? All right, so let me see if I can have an example of this on any of my pairs here. Let me look at some more volatile ones that might hedge more often. Let's take a look at GBP. Nope, we're a -1. GearBox can hedge positions, and it will occasionally. Now, if you want it to be more active, where it's always also hedging in the Ghost server so that you're getting moves both ways. I know this is an important question because I did say that there are times where sometimes GearBox might be trading with the trend, meaning that even if a move happens, you might not enter a trade. Well, how you can ensure you would always enter that trade is a little bit more of a risky decision, right? But for those people who wanted to play both sides of the market and enter whenever a move happens, you could play the hour charts. The hour charts are more consistently always going to hedge and play both directions than the daily, as they don't require as much accuracy to take a trade, which means they're more likely going to hedge. But the daily does have its times it hedges, but in the few examples I'm pulling up here right now on my account, it doesn't seem any of my mine are currently hedging. No, all of my displays, we're not getting hedges right now, right? So on the daily, most of these pairs aren't giving it enough bias that it's hedging. But when you're using the hour chart, it's almost always going to also hedge positions in the Ghost server. I tell people to stick to the daily because, again, it's going to be the least risky, the least lot exposure, the most accurate. But if you have a higher risk tolerance or you want to play both sides of the market, then stick to the hour charts, and you'll more likely see it playing both sides in the ghost servers. And anytime moves happen that would trigger, it's going to play both sides. So that is a possibility as well for those people who are looking to see a little bit more trades. CJ, I did understand your question earlier when I answered it. You asked about the trailing stop, that it only closed 17 pips. Again, that I addressed that as kind of a bug within the update from the last update, and seeing that bug, it just kind of got you out of that trade. So it can get you into the next one. And we are investigating into the trailing stops that are sometimes applying when people do a software update. That don't seem to exist too much outside of that. Zen Trader, the loader doesn't have the max pairs or lot size setting built into it yet. We are still working on that, but no matter what, anytime you change the settings, it will reset Ghost Trade still. Anytime you make any settings change on a chart, it's going to reset the Ghost Trades. And the reason it has to do that is so that those changes can become immediate. There's no way for us to make the changes that you've put in here immediate to your account unless we reset the Ghost Trades. Otherwise, it's going to continue the sequence with the old settings you had, and then it could still deploy that old sequence with old settings onto your real market account. Meaning, let's say you changed the lot size and you decreased it, and we didn't reset the Ghost Trades. Now all of a sudden your increased lot size you had from the week prior could still enter that next week if the Ghost Trades didn't clear, right? So we always reset the Ghost Trades because it's going to provide the most accuracy in making sure your settings changes are immediate. So it's very important. Min said, so there's no setting to hedge. No, like I said, to get GearBox to hedge, you would want to run a lower time frame, and it's more likely to play both sides of the market. The daily, it's going to play the one it believes to be most accurate most of the time, and if it is unsure, it will hedge. But really, the hour lower charts are always going to be hedging on both sides as well. Matt Jazz, yes, for the auto loader, we are working on the option to preset the lot size. We're actually working on the ability for the loader to become a manager, which it has all the settings. So, there's a lot of advanced things we're working on to make GearBox just easier to set up and easier to manage, as it is a great program, but it is, a more advanced program, and we want to continue to make it very sophisticated and very easy to use and get set up and start seeing success with. Min said, if I want my max loss to be 20%, how do I set that? And what if the drawdown needs to be lower than 20%? I'm confused because I have 100% equity risk, but 25% balance protection. Exactly, Min. So that's what comes with default. If you want to change those settings, all right, we'll go into the risk settings real quick. If you want to close out your trades, if you ever hit 20% drawdown, you're going to put 20% as your max equity risk. If you want it to stop trading or taking new trades at 10% drawdown, you're going to change this to 10. If you want it to stop trading at 15% drawdown, you're going to set that to 15. If you want your notifications at 10 and 15, or even 7.5 and 15, right? You can change those things. But again, you're going to want to change those on every single currency pair. But yes, if you wanted to change your max loss to where if it hits 20% drawdown, close out all your trades, you're going to put max equity risk at 20. And all of this I explain in the EA Academy. So as you guys go in the EA Academy inside your AP back office, I have a video that explains each and every single setting individually. So you'll be able to get into all of those as well. Watch out for using this change. Philip said, what does the perfect storm look like for us watching out for using? Does changing max level on one pair make it work for all the pairs? Do I have to change all the pairs? Philip, so this is a great question. It depends on which way you're going. So if you're decreasing them, then you're going to have to decrease them on every single pair. If you're increasing them, to my knowledge, if you increased it on only one pair, it should allow other pairs to take more trades. You'll have to test that. but I have had that happen on my own accounts before as well, where I only raised one chart and it did that. Now on the decrease side, if you decrease one, it's still going to see the other ones that are higher. But I believe for raising it, you could set it on only one and it should apply. Now for decreasing max pairs trading, you've got to change it on every chart. So hopefully that answered that question. Let me make sure we have nothing else going on in the chat box here. Edward said he's currently testing exotic pairs. If I change the raw range multiplier before market open every single week, could GearBox reset the ghost trades? Edward, no matter what, there's a setting inside GearBox that if you want it to reset the ghost trades every week, it will reset them automatically on the first tick of market open. You'll see right here, there is a setting called delete ghost trades at start of the week. So if you are using, the default strategy or any of the strategies, unless you change this to no, it will automatically delete. Paul, great question. He said he's a member. He's been running Alexander for 8 months. GearBox is not listed under customer care package. Paul, you're going to need to switch to the marketplace model. If you haven't switched it to our marketplace model, there should be a button in your back office in like the right-hand corner. You're going to want to switch to the EA marketplace, and then you're going to be able to see all of our new software products, as well as get access to our cheaper membership plan. As currently it sounds like you're on our old plan where you're actually paying, basically what you're paying, you could almost be using 2 softwares now instead of 1. So Paul, you're definitely going to want to switch to our marketplace model as we become much more generous. Chrysola, I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad. She said 500 euro double TP strategy, no trades this week. Yep, it's been a very slow week, as I showed. This is a swing account, and it has not actually opened any new trades even on swing this week. You can see that there were trades open this week that were just cost averages to trades that already existed. So you see this week this trade opened the 17th, but it was in continuous to a trade that was open on the 9th and 6th. And you can see I got a trade here open on the 18th that was in continuous to a trade open last week on the 13th. So in regards to that, yeah, even swing, I did not get any new trades this week on this account. And this account allows 6 max pairs trading. We only have 4 deployed. So what does this tell me? It tells me that this was a slow week. There was not a lot of movement. A lot of the trades that exist in my accounts or profit I made in my accounts was from trades from the previous 2 weeks that were open. So if you're brand new again and you did not see trades this week, it's not typically that you did anything wrong. It was just a slow week in the market. And there's going to be markets like that. But you have to understand that with GearBox, you are going to see that it is more about the months, not the weeks, right? There's going to be weeks where you have large returns for trades that were open for 2 weeks. There's been times where I've had trades I was stuck in for 2 weeks that swung 1 week and I made 7% on trades that were open for 2 weeks. That's all I need to make for the month, right? So GearBox is often going to be more of a monthly institutional trader. It's taking longer trades. Its average trade length on most accounts, this is a swing account. Even on swing, my average trade length is 3 days, right? And you look at Sniper and my average trade length, if we go to this 40K one, is 4 days, right? So we're taking a lot longer trades. GearBox, again, you're looking for a longer outlook. And also remember, you're not going to take a lot of trades. This account has been running for over 90 days now, and it's only taken 90 trades. And again, if you're approving trades, there's an average 3 trades minimum in a sequence, and you're approving a sequence, meaning that you typically might have only approved 30 trades in 3 months, meaning you might have only approved 10 trades a month. They all could have happened in 1 or 2 weeks, and you might not get trades for another 2 weeks. So just in setting the expectations, GearBox doesn't take a lot of trades. They're very precise trades, and there's going to be weeks you get no trades. There's going to be weeks you get tons of trades. It's on the overall longer term picture with GearBox, as it is, again, a more institutional strategy, taking longer and more precise trades, catching more pips. Anonymous attendee asked me for delete ghost trades start of the week. Does it delete ghost trades at the beginning of the week? So before we made the update this week, there was a bug in some GearBoxes where it wasn't deleting ghost trades. So if you're asking that because you didn't see it delete on Sunday market open, you will see it this week clear on market open. It should delete all the ghost trades and start fresh. when the market opens on Sunday. It looks like we have answered all of the questions here. So I hope that all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in. We've almost been here for an hour and 45 minutes, and we still have, almost 100 of you here on the line, which is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys for tuning in and being on this market analyst call for this next upcoming week. I'm going to be sticking to my strategies. I will be putting an update in the GearBox chat with how I plan to manage my accounts. But for the most part, I will be sticking to my swing and my sniper strategy. And for my small 250 balance, my super sniper strategy. And I'll also be setting up some new live accounts with double take profit settings for my own tracking and data collection and sharing with you guys as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. And I hope that we have another incredible week of trading. And when I say incredible, meaning accurate trades. This was an incredible week for GearBox, even if you guys didn't take a trade. Why? Because you're seeing that GearBox doesn't just take trades. You got 25 currency pairs running and you don't take a trade on any of them. That tells you that this thing is really looking for something precise, and it didn't happen this week. So I hope that we have an incredible week this week and you guys get to see how GearBox plays, how precise it can be. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a wonderful day.